I love this quote by Warren Buffett. Cash combined with courage at a time of crisis is priceless. Mr. Buffett is exactly right. And what we train for is a number of things, but the biggest is on the day when the balloon goes up, when these markets crash, is to be ready to do the best trading of our lives. When there's blood in the streets, there is lots of money to be made. When people are hurling themselves off buildings, running around like their hair is on fire, that is the time to be steeled and ready. That is training day. That's what we are training for. I guess this is training day. That's game day. And we are preparing for that. Every day we ask you to spend 10 to 15 minutes with us reviewing these charts, learning what there is to learn, seeing what there is to see through the good times and the bad times. This is the bad time of year. This is the fall-winter trading zone. This is the summertime trading zone. Fall-winter trading zone is the great time of year. Summertime trading zone is the crappy time of year. Not a lot of volume in the market. Things get real up and down, sideways. It is difficult, but it's a great time for you to practice trade, for you to train with us. If you want to get good at this, create your own money printing press. First thing you have to do is you got to practice, and you need to practice day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, year in, year out. How long will it take you to get good at this? I don't know. But if you practice, you can do this. And what you just need to do is say, hey, if I don't start today, it's going to be one day later when I start getting good at this. So start now. Dedicate yourself for the rest of your life to following these markets 10 to 15 minutes every day. I promise you, it will come. But if you don't devote the time and the energy, you're not going to get it. You're not going to have the insights. You're not going to have that level of skill to be able to tell what's really going on. But again, concentrating on this every day, you will get it. And we keep it simple and straightforward. If you don't have our book, order it, buy it. We're in our 11th printing right now. They are going out every day. If you live overseas, you need to email us, cw@chartingwealth.com. We'll send you a PayPal invoice. You pay it, we'll send your book to you. If you live in the States, then just go to the link in the show notes, and you'll see the ability to go to our Square page and order it. We'll get an autographed copy right out to you. Let's jump into these markets. We see stocks are mixed. S&P 500 down, Nasdaq 100 up. Bonds are down. Gold is down and gives us perhaps an opportunity. Let's jump first into the S&P 500. What do we see going on? Well, I'm going to move our trend line, our vertical crossover away. We can see that in the prior week, we had a much higher wick on top than we do this week. The candle body is also in about the same place, which is, of course, telling us some stalling there. We see that the S&P was down a little bit for the day, just 0.1%, but down. Derivative oscillator still negative. Price percent oscillator did cross over going up, but again, we see almost a laminated position between the signal line and the price percent oscillator. So not a lot of strong up movement. Price is still above the weekly trend line, but we go to that 2-day. We just finished drawing the latest 2-day candle. It represents Tuesday and Wednesday, and it is a red spinning top, a solid red spinning top. Again, first red top we've seen in a while. We see the price percent oscillators heading down, derivative oscillator losing momentum. Now it's still positive. So is the weekly. So, again, we've got the price percent oscillators positive on the 2-day and the weekly. So keep that in mind. Now, what's going on with the 4-hour chart? Hasn't crossed over and given us any jumping in point after that weekly vertical crossover. We called it a very weak weekly vertical crossover, but we nonetheless put it in there. Pay attention to what's going on. If we do have a crossover going up, you might very well have a jumping in point on this 4-hour chart. Use that as your trigger for a practice trade. Remember, we're not a stock calling service. We're an education firm, but we want you to practice every opportunity that you get, because it's only through practice that you're going to learn this, that you'll then be able at some point to do it for real when you combine everything you've learned here and everything else you've read and studied. And once you've gotten good at being able to call it time after time. Now, let's go back to the charts, go back to the weekly and look at the Qs, the Nasdaq 100. See the same thing here on the candle, but we don't have a crossover. Haven't had a crossover on the price percent oscillator. Derivative oscillator still negative. So again, still in a confirmed down move on the weekly chart. We did see the Qs up for the day on Wednesday, up actually 0.47%. We go to the 2-day chart. What do we see there? We see a red spinning top sitting right there on the 2-day trend line. And again, we see the price percent oscillator is the opposite of the weekly. It's up. Derivative oscillators lost some momentum. Price percent oscillator's gone about flat. So we don't have a trade since the 2 days in one direction, the weekly is in another. Let's look a little closer and see what's happening with that 4-hour chart. It was down on Tuesday, the 25th, and then really slide sideways and then down in the afternoon on Wednesday, pushing through the 2-day trend line. So again, waiting to see how these stocks are going to sort things out as they're dragging and not giving us any clear signals. Weekly still confirmed down on the Qs, 2 days up but weakening. We'll wait and see if indeed this market's going to roll over, if it's just pausing to move back up again. Now we're going to go back to our weekly, head to bonds. Told you wasn't feeling super good about bonds, down for the day 0.64%, still in a confirmed up move, price still above the weekly trend line. We see that the price percent oscillator still heading up. Derivative oscillator on that weekly chart's lost some momentum. We go to the 2-day chart. What do we see there? Well, we see a green up candle, again above the 2-day trend line, above the weekly, weakening though on that price percent oscillator, appears to be heading toward the red signal line. Derivative oscillator keeps losing momentum, lost a fair bit of momentum here lately on this last 2-day candle, still confirmed though, up on the 2-day, up on the weekly, weak on that 2-day. What about the 4-hour? Down even further, look like it might get ready to cross over going up at the end of Tuesday, but then down in the morning, further down in the afternoon on Wednesday. Derivative oscillator gaining downward momentum, price percent oscillator heading down just above that 2-day trend line. If we violate that 2-day trend line in the morning, then of course, if you are in that trade, pay close attention to that, because that, again, is not comfortable, but we'll wait and see how things sort out. Folks, that's where we are when we look at stocks and bonds. Lastly, we go to gold. That's where we see the real pullback for the day, 0.92%. Now you look at that weekly candle, still hammering up. And again, a beautiful weekly crossover back going on 4 weeks ago, back on the 7th of June. Representing that whole week of strong up movement and increasing strength over the next 3 weeks going into this week. We see the derivative oscillator heading up, price percent oscillator heading up. Go to that 2-day candle. What do we see there? This latest 2-day candle, bigger body, higher wick, so things are moving up. So a little bit of relaxation probably based upon what happened over the day on Wednesday of the derivative oscillators lost some momentum. Price percent oscillator not going up at still going up at a very strong angle, not at the super strong angle it had been going up before. And then we go to we go from the 2-day to the 4-hour. We saw that weakening. We talked about that yesterday afternoon on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday, down in the morning, a little bit of up movement in the afternoon, but again, we see the price percent oscillator heading down, hasn't crossed over on that 4-hour chart, could change in the morning, but the derivative oscillator's been losing momentum for the last 3 candles, so that's a day and a half. And again, we'll just pay attention, might have a jumping in point for those who didn't get it on that original rise on gold. There's a crossover and then a recross going up if the 2-day and the weekly stay in those up moves. So again, Let's pay attention to those things as they move along. Folks, that's where we are as we end the day. Those of you who are still in gold, you jumped in the afternoon on the 20th. Of course, pay attention to what's going on that 4-hour chart. But remember, you still see things nice and strong on that 2-day, nice and strong on that weekly. So that should give you hope for some continued up movement, even if there's a bit of a retracement. Folks, we love you being with us. We love to hear from you. You have questions, problems, concerns, don't hesitate to email us, cw@chartingwealth.com. We'll try to put that in our question and answer session that we will put out to all of our subscribers. You do need to subscribe for free. You just go to chartingwealth.com, see our channel. You can sign up right there. Just put in your name and email address, and you will be receiving the information. We so appreciate you being with us. Again, we are here for you. Want you to use the worksheets that we have available for free. They're PDFs in the show notes. You can find the worksheets, daily market worksheet, weekly market worksheet, trade worksheet, everything you need to get started. Great training videos at the website and the YouTube channel. And again, appreciate hearing from you. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team here at Charting Wealth World Headquarters. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and subscribe to us on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up. Help us out in every way you can. God bless. All the best.